time to finish off the rest of Body Harvest. Last episode we ended by preventing the alien invasion of Java in 1941. We travel another 25 years ahead in time to undo their destruction of America in 1966. Once again, all my weapons were left behind apart from my basic pistol, so bye bye shotgun and rocket launcher. At this point in time, the advancement in technology and recording devices means the aliens can no longer invade in secret like they did the first two times, so now subtlety is thrown out and they're sending larger and stronger waves down. I first enter a nearby house and loot the place. It contains a huge amount of ammo and a new shotgun. I get in a new car, the Edzil, and follow the road south and west. A new alien beams down, this huge scorpion. Aliens in this time period are purple, which means they look the coolest here. These ones can try and get a parting shot in with their laser tails even as the heads are blown up. When the second one beams down, I'm already losing people when one gets destroyed by a laser aimed at me. And I run over one myself, reversing to get away from it. Roach gunners are not only more prominent here than they were in Java, they're out in the normal paths instead of being hidden off to the side like many were then. Travelling on foot is rarely an option unless you want to be wiped out in no time. I don't get much time to breathe when I kill the gunner as a harvester wave starts up to the south. And I'm stuck going there on foot as the only nearby car is locked. It's a long walk too, with more roach gunners spawning in. I finally reach the part of town with the harvester, but my human meter is filling and I get half my health still knocked out of me by a roach gunner. I just managed to take out the harvester before it can eat any more humans. Taking out the rest of them uses up all my shotgun ammo and leaves me near death. The upside to having so many more huge tough aliens showing up is that these are the ones that drop health recoveries, so I have more chances to heal. I grab myself another Edzil and check my map. The processor is to the east, but I can't get to it from here, and the only bridge to it in the northeast has been destroyed. I start heading back the way I came, but take an east road I skipped before. I explore the northern edge of this town, but it's difficult as I only have my pistol for the strong aliens. Plus there's this roach gunner out of pistol range that can hit me. I drive to the northeastern corner of this town and enter the shop with the fruit stalls. I go into the basement and find the first alien artifact of this time period in a drawer. Next, north of town, I go up this ramp to take a V8 Highboy, since my Edzil is on the brink of death. I use it to take on that roach gunner, but lose it in the process. I next return to the northern half of the map I started at and enter the open sewer pipe next to this building. I go down the manhole, but the whole thing's flooded so I can't move any further. Until I figure out I can drain the water by turning the wheel on this pipe. I can then cross a tunnel and climb out the other side. The second I leave, a new harvester wave starts to the north. I grab a nearby police car and while being shot at by a gunner, Daisy interrupts to warn me that many roads are blocked off and I'll need to find alternate routes. I lose my police car taking out the gunner, but thankfully there was a second one. I get heading north to take on that harvester, but with more scorpions blocking the road and wasting my time, the human meter is already half full. I lose my car again, but there's a taxi close by. I just have to ignore everything else beaming down and rush to the harvester. I lose my taxi, but kill the harvester. I'm given no time to rest when another harvester wave beams down at a school and start attacking the kids. My next objective is to lead those children to a church. I take a nearby tipper and drive north to the school to get shooting. I'm just as much a danger to the kids as the harvester's barrier bounces my truck back and makes me run a couple of them over. With just the basic pistol, the helicopter aliens are just a tedious nightmare to fight. But I take them all out and behind the school is an ice cream van. This is how you get the kids to stop panicking and start following you. You switch on the chimes and just bait them away from the school, and while I'm gathering them up, another harvester wave attacks the school. I try to avoid fighting, but many of them get attacked and most of them get ran over by me trying to save them. It goes so horribly I personally kill the last human just to trigger the end of the world since I had no chance anyway. Next time I saved way more kids and managed to get them to leave the schoolyard. Thing is, they do move quite slow though, so you have to make sure you don't leave them behind. However, I realise I don't actually know where the church is. I end up leading them in completely the wrong direction. I end up leading them into the crosshairs of a scorpion and a roach gunner and lose tons of them, so I just quit the game and start again. It's just a little bit southwest of the school, I have no idea how I missed it. I lead them all inside and then rush back to the school to deal with that harvester, accidentally running over one of the kids who didn't follow me. I round up the few I missed and drop them off too. Only for another harvester to appear at the school and a giant scorpion to camp out of the church and keep lasering me. The wanker. I somehow managed to kill it without losing any more kids, even with them directly running underneath it. My next objective is just to reach and destroy the alien processor, but first I've got to deal with the third harvester at the school, and while that's going off another one starts to the south, all the way back where I dealt with the first harvester. I take the school bus, drive south, fling myself over the railings and rush back to the suburbs to take them all out. But by the time I'm done, the human meter is half full. I come back with a V8 and a harvester wave starts across from the broken bridge, so I just build up speed and jump the gap. My recording fucked and cuts from the jump to me taking on the aliens, and while I'm facing the harvester, the footage cuts to me taking on a gunner roach. My car is lost and I get a gunner roach, harvester and scorpion coming for me at once. I don't survive. Next time I show up to the harvester wave with some shotgun ammo saved up and first take out that roach gunner. With that gone, I can easily kill the harvester and sweep up the rest. While clearing out the rest of this block, Daisy tells me that the processor is on the hospital grounds to the south, but the bridge there is gone too. To the east of this block is a house with a red door belonging to a hippie. Upstairs I can find America's first weapon crystal. In the northeast corner is another sewage tunnel guarded by a gunner, but after I take it out there's still a load of the annoying helicopter alien swarm in town. Then heading further south gets 3 roach gunners beaming down in front of me. I sacrifice a couple cars trying to get close and then hide behind a nearby building slowly plinking away at their health. My human meter also fills a good amount as people just love walking into their line of fire. Eventually I find the best spots to take each of them down. Like, look at this fucking idiot, he doesn't care, where's the self-preservation instinct? And when I finally kill it, it turns out there were 5 just wandering around it. These guys were optional, but they were guarding a building containing some ammo and the rifle. Now it's time for that tunnel. It's a long tunnel and it turns out to have also had the rifle, so I didn't need to waste the time and people on those gunners. I exit the tunnel and run down this ramp. Going up the opposite ramp has me find this monster bug, so I can go south, drive across the water down here and zoom over this ramp. Just keep speeding my way south, dodging fire from a load of gunners and ignoring the new missile launching alien that beams down, so I can reach another sewer tunnel before my fuel runs out. Nothing interesting in here and I come out the other side even further south. The processor is just around the corner now, but first I have another of those attention seeking harvester waves to deal with. I just hang back and rifle them all, except for the annoying flying ones. I enter the hospital Daisy told me about and make my way to the top, looting it for all the ammo I can find. The processor is on the roof, but first I take down all the flyers. I have very little space to get in front of the processor on foot and fight effectively, but there's a helicopter nearby to try and fly in front of it with. But of course I get more arsehole helicopter aliens too. I hate them, plus roach gunners. It's just such a pain in the arse even getting a good shot with the way the copter moves, and I'm stuck using just the pistol, so when I do get the odd shot in, it's not much. My copter gets shot down, but there are a couple more on the hospital roof. In the end it takes 10 tedious minutes plinking away at the processor before it just fucking dies. This was miserable. The base design on the level on its own is fine, but it's dragged down by the ridiculous harvester spam and terrible processor fight. Thankfully the rest of America doesn't piss me off anywhere near as much as America 1 did. I take the helicopter all the way to the north to find a shield portal too small to squeeze the helicopter through. I tried. Daisy tries to talk to me, but the signal is weak around here due to the density of the mountains. I run through the portal and right away I get gunner roaches, so I have a long journey south with gunners hidden around every turn. The path turns north and I reach a village just as a harvester wave beams down into it. I really have to be careful with these as I ended the first stage with the human meter 70% full, but this one's pretty easy. By this point I'm even getting used to roach gunners and they're slowly becoming just another enemy. I take this new car, the Dusty, and go up this hill to reach a hidden house containing this time's second alien artifact. I check my objective and it's to just make my way east. So back in the town I follow the road which starts off going north, having to actually face one of these missile launching scorpions. Now these you definitely don't want to fight on foot. I go northeast between more mountains and it's just another roach gunner gauntlet. I reach more buildings and get a message from the man in black. He throws out some generic threats and just stands on top of the shed shooting at me. He's also backed up by some flying aliens. I end up losing my car, so I just run up to him and blast chunks out of him with the shotgun. He beams out before I can die, throwing out some sore loser, "I'll just kill you next time" excuse. Then lets his friends beam down and do the fighting for him. Oh, he's one of them, is he? I'm sure you've all dealt with it back in school or whatever. The group of shithead teenagers and there's just one who's always hiding up the biggest kid's arse, only popping his head out at side to make a shit quit before hiding again. Well, in this case the big kid was a giant scorpion and it killed me. Next time I take all 3 of them out and loot the house the man in black was standing on. A lot of shotgun ammo. I get moving through the east exit of town, where of course my biggest fans, the roach gunners, are waiting around the corner to harass me. Then those helicopter pricks blow up my car. The path leads south to another town where Daisy warns me that someone has really messed the place up. As I get closer, a house explodes next to me to reveal a giant fire-breathing sandworm. I get 1 shot in before it hides again, but there's actually 3 of them to deal with. I manage to take 1 of them out, but a 4th is marked down on my map. To really tell when one is going to raise its head from the sand, I just have to keep an eye on the dust clouds. This helps me take out a second one before Daisy sends me another message. What can be made out through the static is that these are the aliens causing some of the interference with our communications. I take out the last two quick enough. That fight was tense, but I'd much rather deal with these than more gunners or helicopters. I have Daisy contact me again. There's still some interference, but it's a bit better. She tells me to get past the ruin blocking my path forward and to find some more powerful weapons. So I enter the nearest house with the red door to get the rocket launcher back. The ruins are slightly northeast and just one rocket blows them away. I continue east through the path on foot. Once I reach the end of these mountains, Daisy can finally send me clearer transmissions again. She's picking up high power signals from an outpost to the east, so checking that out is my next objective. I move north so I can get into this monster bug and keep driving north up the river until I find this small entrance built into the side of the mountain. It leads to some ammo chests and the final alien artifact of America. That's the first time I can complete a set of the collectibles on a stage other than the last one of that time period. Back outside, I turn around and go back the way I came, continuing south until I nearly get hit by the sneaky gunner at the top of this mountain in the distance. Once it's gone, I drive west up the hill a little to find the entrance to a mine. I go down the manhole in here, then go west and north down another. This room is flooded, so I turn the wheel on a pipe to drain it and open the chest here for the second weapon crystal. On the way back, another door opened in the second to another manhole. It leads to a few chests and another ladder leading to a chest containing a totem pole section. I go out and take a path to the east through the mountains. This gets me more helicopters and gunners and loses me my car. There's always a chance I could skip some of these gunners, mainly the ones hidden away that it looks like won't shoot me if I just stay away, but I'm not taking that chance. I get running up the mountain path to the north and then turn east to find the fenced off base station 508. To the west is a slope into more mountains I run up. I follow this long path around and uphill until I find a Native American reservation. Of course, this is under attack as well. Not just from the roach gunner I can see right away, but from more sandworms as well. And as I move further in, even a missile scorpion. After it, while I'm still dealing with more gunners and sandworms, a harvester wave also starts up here. Honestly, this stage is far more lenient with the harvesters than the first stage was. But for a major dick move, they made it so that the harvester stands in the line of fire of a roach gunner that's miles away, making it tougher to approach it if I want to use the shotgun for a quick kill. Never mind all the slime grabbing me just as I'm about to do the killing shot. But this is still one of the easy harvester waves I've had in this time period. Daisy lets me know she's getting strange reading from the ground beneath me and there's a load of tunnels underneath me too. She tells me to find someone who can explain what's going on to me. Another new car here, the Sandminks. A pair of helicopters taking out in no time though. I hate them so much. In the middle of the reservation, I go north up a hill to find a house I can enter. I talk to the man inside who says I need to appease his ancestors by doing a task for them and says I should read their sacred text for information. He talks about how when they were colonised, their sacred totem was split up and scattered around the region. Well, I already have one of them and also take the second, presumably reclaimed, piece from the guy's house. I'm not sure that's what he had in mind. The other text lets me know that there's only one piece left to find though. A little south of the house I can turn west to find another mine. I turn a wheel to release some gas or pressure or whatever and go down the manhole. Then of the next two available to me I take the one on the right. I follow this room to a third. In this next room I turn another wheel and climb the ladder to the south. I then go left and down another manhole. Turn a wheel to drain more water and go down another. I then keep moving south through a door to find the final totem piece section. I return to the house and return the completed totem. He says I have a long journey and that the spirits will guide me. I have to accept the vision quest which shows me a new path being blown in the mountains, along with the man in black running through a shield portal and then the military outpost I've been trying to reach, followed by the alien processor. I leave the reservation to the south and run east along this cliff until I find another monster bug. I can then drive further east to find the new path that was created. I follow it all the way to another mine entrance. I just go up the ladder and exit out the other side to finally get inside that outpost. My next objective is to take out the processor and I have plenty of options for doing so. But first I loot the barracks. This gets me the machine gun, which by now is starting to feel a little irrelevant against most of the aliens I'm fighting now. But it'll still be handy if the pistol is my only other option. There's a UFO in this base, the source of the power readings. But the readings have since disappeared and there's no power to fly it. So instead I take one of the helicopters, a Huey. I get flying southeast a little in the processor's direction. As you'd expect by now, it's backed up by a load of helicopters and roach gunners on every mountaintop. In the end I take so long trying to clear a safe path to the processor that my Huey runs out of fuel and lands right in front of the processor. It's destroyed and I'm not going anywhere from here, so it's a pure damage race now. I take out a huge chunk of its health with my rocket launcher. but right before the final rocket hits and kills it, I go from 70% health to dead in an instant. That was one of the most painful deaths in the entire playthrough. Another 40 minutes later, I just avoid focusing on the backup and spin in circles shooting whatever I can hit. This time it works and the processor is destroyed. This stage was a big improvement over the first, I'd say. Less harvester spam, and didn't feel like the stage was purposefully designed to be an arsehole. Even so, after that last death, I was glad to be able to save its completion. There's a new Huey behind where the alien processor once was. I fly to the south of the military outpost to find the shield portal I saw the Man in Black use during the Vision quest. My new objective is to find the entrance into this huge compound. First there's a long run south between these two mountains, then there's a fork and a sign saying that to the east is Clampert's lodgings, so I go there. He's clearly seen a lot of the aliens. In the same house as a terrified man with a gun, of course I want to go into his basement and steal all his shit right under his nose. This includes the third and final weapon crystal for this time period, this time getting me the lightning gun. I leave the house and there's another path through the mountains hidden behind it. I follow it east and then south, taking out the selfish roach gunner hogging the entire path. At the fork, I go west and south to get a message from Daisy. She lets me know that the compound I'm trying to reach is indeed massive. Out of the mountain path and into this huge desolate desert area. I keep moving southeast until I find a sand minx I can get in, which triggers more aliens showing up. I get close to the shield and start heading south. I then just follow this drop west and north, ignoring the sandworm as there are no people around for it to kill. I find an entrance to the compound, but it's fenced off. Instead there's a ramp in the southeast corner of this area that leads inside. She tells me there's slime dotted all over the compound, covering the southeast section. She believes the aliens are using it to alter the terrain to suit them. But I also have several roach gunners above me and a harvester wave to deal with, not to mention those helicopters I hate so much. So after a long alien killing session, I head to the centre south to find a building I can enter. It gets me some much needed ammo refills. I head north to find an open gate that closes as I get close to it. I enter the building slightly southeast of it. Inside I get the nitro fuel. I take a nearby Miller J3P and with the speed boost the nitro fuel gives me, just barely pass through that gate and get rewarded with 2 harvester waves at once to the east. The Miller has a built-in machine gun so I can very easily take out both of them since they're so close together. After that I enter the huge building in the centre of this area. This place gets me a massive stockpile of ammo. In the western room I gain a red access card. This lets me open the door opposite the entrance. I open all the chests and go down the stairs. I go down more stairs for even more ammo, then down even more stairs, through more rooms and I finally find someone I talk to. But he's not allowed to talk to me and won't move, so I go through the door opposite him. More looting and through the door in the north, then up some stairs on the right and through the door in the north again to end up back outside. A few steps west has me going back inside again. Inside here is an alien grey, but I can't understand it, so I go through the door on the left and exit through the bottom left corner. There's a lot of tanks around here, but first I ignore them and go southwest a little to find another building where I can loot a translator. I can't go any further since I don't have the access card. He then realises he doesn't recognise me and sounds the alarm. This triggers another alien wave followed by a harvester wave seconds later. The lightning gun is very fast and very strong. It makes me curious what I missed not using the alien weapon in Greece. I don't want to use it all up yet though, so I get in a tank and rampage through them all. With the translator I go back to the Grey. It asks that I don't tell anyone I saw it and gives me the access card it used to escape their lab. With the green access card in my hands, the guy from before lets me through. He says I should find one of the military operatives further on who can help me. So I go through another room to end up back outside. A few steps and I get another harvester wave inches from my face. Lightning gun deals with them. After that comes the usual clearing out of helicopters and roach gunners. I check out the hangar in the northwest of this area for the guy inside to say they've had their doomsday devices stolen. To make things easier for me, he grants me the authorization to drive any military vehicle. Back outside I grab a nearby Huey and get moving southeast towards the alien processor. Of course I had a load of roach gunners and helicopters to get rid of first, but these lot just respawn way too quick for it to be worth the effort and vehicle health. What I end up doing is the same thing I did with the second processor. Flying circles, getting whatever hits I can and picking up every possible health refill item from killed aliens. It takes a few minutes, but I manage it. This is the first time completing a stage without dying since Greece 2. It'll also be the last time. Once again, like the second stage, this was much better than the first. After saving, I get a message from the Man in Black. He's trying to act all hard even after pissing himself and running off in our last fight. Can't win a fight himself, so he set up all these stolen doomsday devices. So I get flying west to find the next shield portal. As soon as I enter, a timer starts counting down from 2 minutes and 30 seconds. I have 5 devices to destroy. I find the first one soon enough, shooting out lasers in 4 directions. These things are quite durable, taking 3 shots from the lightning gun to destroy. There's also these cannons that shoot quick enough that they're a bastard to try and aim at properly, leading to me getting killed. Next time I go north from the first one to find the second device hiding behind a building and take that one out. Though it does leave me close to death and the same cannon as before kills me. Next time I barely get anywhere before the same cannon gets me again. I will say, I'm glad this wasn't part of the 3rd stage. Imagine if this was pushed in right before you could save, where you can be killed so quickly. Next time I try running around the north edge, away from the cannon so I can destroy the 3rd device. Then it's a dash southeast, ignoring the undefeatable cannon, and at the next fort going north to take out the 4th device and then south for the final one, completing the section with 25 seconds remaining. I get another message from the man in black. Thanks to the way the text fades in, I thought he called me a cunt for a second. He's still being a sad wanker pretending he's letting me win. Daisy tells me that just the shield generator is left, but first I'm absolutely saving that. I return to the guy who gave the authorization and he allows me to try out a UFO they've been working on. The shield generator is to the northwest, around the middle of the map. It looks like I'm driving a giant killer Beyblade. The UFO is amazing. Its weapon sends out a shockwave that just annihilates the enemies surrounding me. It's very cathartic. It also makes this shield generator the easiest one to destroy by far. As usual, the Alpha 1 comes to pick me up and takes on its battle mode. This time the boss is Moloch. It looks like a larger version of the Harvester mutant. He starts off by firing loads of buzzsaws at me. They continue to travel around the stage and do huge damage to the Alpha 1 if they cut me. As usual for bosses, I stick to skidding in a circle, chipping away at whatever appendages it will let me damage. If I run low on health, shooting the buzzsaws will get me some. At first, only the middle section can be damaged. Once that's destroyed, the arm cannons with the claws can be damaged. It'll not only fire missiles but also the claws, which are still connected to it with electricity. After a while, I blow off its left arm and take the frag cannon it drops. This lets me take out the right arm much faster. Without its arms, the Moloch will now try body slamming the ground like the previous bosses, going for that sweet shockwave damage. But now I can damage the main body, which allows me to finish it off in very few hits. And there is America saved in 1966. Despite the rocky start with the first stage, this time period was definitely an improvement over Java. There were nowhere near as many times where my deaths felt cheap. There's only one key part of the alien invasion to prevent now, the one in Siberia in 1991. Even just as we're landing, you can tell things are very wrong here. Daisy's picking up weird life signals and there's an eerie green fog covering the entire area. I grab a nearby Vladikar and get moving north, where I crush a human without filling a meter. Whatever the aliens have done to this place, it's turned the people into zombies. I can no longer kill them and fill the human meter, but they can still be harvested, which will fill it. Speaking of harvesters, one starts up to the northeast, so I get following the road up there to take them on. The aliens here are dark blue and the toughest they've been yet. This is a problem when I'm once again reduced to just my pistol. I focus on the flying ones and then my car gets destroyed as the harvester crawls towards me. I managed to kill it though and clear out the rest of them, but I came very close to death. I drive back the way I came and downhill, then sink my new car into this lake. I first run uphill south to this big house, but it just gets me health and fuel. You want to avoid the centre of this village by the way, as it triggers the arrival of a Hoveros. Thought you were getting used to dealing with roach gunners? Think again, because they always stayed in one spot, but a Hoveros is a roach gunner that can fly and chase you down. If you're on foot and just have the pistol, you have no chance. I managed to survive my way to the house in the northwest corner of the village. There's a weak man in here who says he used to drive the train to the chemical factory, but some gas escaped and now he feels strange. He hid the train starting handle downstairs to stop the zombies from stealing the train. He opens the door downstairs and I take the handle from the chest. I try to escape town, but the aliens chase me down and kill me. Next time I try to avoid triggering the Hoveros spawning, but I fail. I die within seconds of leaving the house after grabbing the train handle. I don't even get that far next time. The best way to get that train handle is to hug the North Hill. Don't go anywhere near the centre, go around the back of the house too. And then once you have that handle, do it all again in reverse. The only thing is, I did this first instead of taking out the harvester wave, and grabbing the train handle starts a second one in the same place, so I get destroyed. So deal with the harvester wave, go to the village and hug the wall, get the train handle, hug the wall on the way back. Fight the second harvester wave and the giant scorpion that spawns in separately. With that dealt with, I head south of the town the harvester was to this farm. I go inside and talk to the farmer who says that the zombies ate all his shotgun shells so I can use his combine harvester instead. I also take his shotgun. The Combine Harvester starts with almost no fuel and has very little health. I keep moving north from the village and use it to smash down the fences on my way to the train station. The guy inside lets me know that an avalanche further on has blocked the path forward, but I can deal with it. I get in the train and just keep driving. There's a giant block of ice on the tracks, but I just ram right through it. I just keep driving forward, never stopping for the aliens beaming in, but making sure to get a few shots in before I pass them. We even get the return of the jellies from Java. A missile scorpion spawns on the tracks, but I just keep shooting and ram through it. I reach another train station, but the train has lost a lot of health, and there's a harvester wave here, so I have to get off anyway. Before fighting, I go inside the station to pick up a machine gun. I go outside to take on the aliens and die before I can get off a single shot. And then next time I'm killed by the scorpion after picking up the train handle again. I had to save space on my computer, so the next recording starts for next time I have the train. This time I'm a lot more careful with the train, stopping to use its machine guns to take out all the aliens along the tracks to not risk losing it. This time when I stop the train, I run to a Vladikar, drive it to an APC, then use its machine gun to take out all the aliens. That was a relatively quick fight, but the human meter shot up to 40% during it. I first spend a few minutes looting whichever houses survived. Then, for some idiot reason, I wander along the train tracks, trigger the missile scorpion to respawn and nearly die. I take the APC along the train tracks until I can get off to the east where there's a building. Daisy tells me that this is where the gas has been leaking from and tells me to question everyone inside. Well, after dealing with the huge alien attack that starts before I can do anything else. So I go inside and then move north and east into the next room. Then between north and south, I choose the north door and talk to the scientist. He says the gas he was working on was supposed to help people, not turn them into zombies. But the man in black showed up, altered his formula, and here we are. He then sends me a message to gloat. After the two chests are opened, I leave. The man in black hijacks another train carrying the gas. So I decide I'm going to take him on with his tank, after I deal with the extra wave beaming down to distract me. I head further up the tracks, but there's nothing that can be done. The man in black crashes the train into the shield and spills the gas over this town. And two harvester waves start to the west while I'm dealing with a pair of hoverosers. While I'm taking them out, Daisy lets me know that the people in the nearby town have been poisoned. All I can do is remove all the aliens and take on the processor. I take out the first set of aliens and go for the harvesters, as my human meter is rocketing up, but then more hoverosers beam down to waste my time. I finally manage to make it up there and take one out, but I get caught on the train tracks on the way to the other and a mutant is created. I take it down because this tank is incredibly powerful, but my human meter is so full. I go as far west as I can to find a locked helicopter and then go south to find a new airboat, the Polarcor 3850. I check my map and the processor is far to the south, down a river. Of course, before I can even get to the river I've got all the hoverosers coming for me, but this boat is good, so fuck 'em. I keep driving south until I eventually reach water and then keep going south. About halfway down I turn east and speed all the way up this mountain to reach a hidden mine. I have to open this chest to open a door to some stairs so I can light a candle to open another door to the first alien artifact of Siberia. From there I drive southeast a little more to find another house where upstairs there is a chest with the first weapon crystal. After that I'm driving southwest to reach the first alien processor. This is tough as even with the fast rate of fire, the boat's guns don't do much damage to it and they have all the usual shit constantly spawning around me trying to whittle me down. Normally I'd speed up the whole battle footage to match the length of time talking about it, but this was 5 long minutes and I don't have enough to say to make that watchable when sped up to match. A law circling later and I kill it. That wasn't quite as frustrating as America 1, but it was still a pain. I save, knowing full well I can barely make any more mistakes with that human meter. Or I would, but the status beacon isn't fucking working. After a 40-minute slog, I feel the least I can expect is a working save point. No matter what I do, what I press and where, it just will not register. I try driving away and coming back, hoping that getting it far out of sight will somehow make whatever's missing come back. But no, I just have to move on to the next stage and hope I beat it first try, and then just hope the next save point works properly. The shield portal is right behind me and I go through it. Daisy's picking up high energy readings from a nuclear base to the west, so I have to investigate. There's a gunboat here, so I just keep driving southeast taking on these electric fish trying to ram me. Going all the way east shows the way forward being blocked by a giant boulder. So it's south of this village where a harvester wave starts. No gas here, so these are normal killable humans. I take on the harvester, but my APC's auto-targeting goes for the humans it's about to eat and kills them, filling the human bar and killing me. So the game refuses to let my save point work and then kills me less than 3 minutes later. This wasn't the angriest the game has ever made me. It's not even the angriest this game will have made me by the time I'm done. But I was still pretty pissed off. Over an hour later, I'm back and I finished Siberia 1 again with only a 40% full human meter. Most importantly, the status beacon is actually doing its job. So I will not have to repeat Siberia 1 again. Right. This time I take my airboat through the shield portal since it's much faster, easy to control, and just more effective than the gunboat. Like, I'm zooming all over that village shooting aliens, the Harvester doesn't get to accomplish shit. Gotta love the cowardly hoverosers who are waiting until I was out of my vehicle to show their faces. The sight of these things makes me miss the roach gunners already. One of the houses here is locked, so I get moving south through these mountains until I reach the entrance to this laboratory. I go through the door on the west to find an armory where I can pinch some ammo. Back into the first room and through the north door, and then the door on the west. Inside here is a chest with an access card, and also a horribly mutated man with insect arms. One of the Siberian professors, Legopov, did this. He tells me to take his access card and get out. So I go back to the previous room and go through the north door, and then the east door, and then the southern door to get back outside. The lab then explodes, somehow. As I'm trying to figure out what's around me, this thing just charges up to me and takes 90% of my health with one whack. I get in a nearby airboat and see that it's some kind of spider chimera. It keeps swatting me in the direction I need to go while I quickly deplete its health until it escapes by burrowing into the ground. I continue to follow this icy path I've been knocked down as it zigzags south, and as I reach the end, the spider thing shows up for me to finish it off. The end of this path then drops me off in front of the locked house from before, and now I have the access card I can get inside. In the basement is the rocket launcher, so now I can return to the iceberg and destroy it. I pass through and move southwest to find another town and another harvester wave. Once again, airboat supremacy. They'd even choose through those helicopter aliens I hate. I loot all the surviving houses and get driving up the road going northwest. It's a long path with many turns and also forks that lead to dead ends that trigger hoverosers to spawn in. Airboat supremacy can only last so far without health pickups, and the helicopters bring it down and kill me. Next time I leave the airboat and try an APC parked in the town before the road. This time it goes a lot better since I already know where a lot of the dead ends are. I make it to the nuclear installation with very little vehicle health left. Daisy tells me there's a huge build-up of power and signs of life here, so I just check it out. But first I've got a huge backlog of aliens that follow me here to get rid of. But once they're all dealt with, I can go inside. The worker says that the station is overloading and I need to destroy the 5 pump houses. As soon as I step outside, I have only 40 seconds. But I lose a lot of time when my APC bullets don't affect them. When I try the rocket launcher, I run out of time hitting the wrong spots and the station explodes. This leaves the human meter at 90% full, but I'm surviving, so the next objective is to just take on the alien processor. For a nuclear meltdown there hasn't been any effect on the surrounding area. So I can safely loot the barracks, get driving east, then sink my APC and drown in the water, inches from the processor. It turns out I'm supposed to get inside this dozer and drive through the pump houses to destroy them. Would have been nice if the game told me, the time limit doesn't give you enough time to work things out naturally. This time I only destroy 3 before I run out of time, and on this attempt I already lost more humans, so the human bar fills and I game over again. But next time I make it back, I make sure to memorise where they all are beforehand and destroy them all. Daisy tells me the reactor is still overloading though and to go talk to the engineer again. He tells me he's lost contact with the workers inside and lets me take the key from the next room so I can fix it myself. First I take the western door in the back to find an injured worker saying the man in black shot him and set the reactor to overload. He says he pulled the first lever to shut down the reactor, but I need to finish it for him. So I go through the door in the back and then another to reach the lever room, where radiation is making me take constant damage. From the left I pull the second, fourth and then third levers to shut down the reactor. I had to look that one up and I don't know if the game ever actually tells you the proper order. On my way out I can decontaminate to recover health. Now for that processor. To the east of the power station is a parked plane, the Spectre. Before going for the processor, I fly northwest to the corner of the shield to find a lone house. Inside it is the second weapon crystal. I then get flying east of the station to find the alien processor just out there in the open, but it's guarded by missile scorpions on the ground. I try the old flying in circles trick, but it doesn't work and the scorpions keep respawning until I'm shot down. But I happen to land right next to an APC, which is even better for this. Thanks to my durability, I can kill the scorpions, collect the health pickups they drop, and then get a few shots in on the processor before they respawn. It takes a while, but I manage it in the end. That one had the power station segment, but it was less frustrating than the first stage. The fact I have more ways to defend myself from the start of it helps. From the status beacon, I drive north and uphill, and then keep moving west to find the shield portal. I'm told to find and destroy the hidden processor. As you can see by the lines marking the shield, this is the smallest overall area any full stage has in the game. And as I head east and get out at some houses, Daisy tells me that the processor is hidden underwater. I loot the house for its ammo and get heading east some more to end up at a pair of barracks. I talk to the guy inside one and he says bombs have been planted at his oil rigs. I have to take the nearby Hangman B and fly over to each rig to save his workers, and as I get outside I have 1 minute 45 seconds to this. This copter does feel a little awkward with the normal camera, as it's so huge its ass takes up most of the screen. I start by going northwest and landing on the first helipad. It's quite tense as I have to just wait there while people get on one by one. Next is further northwest to do the same, and the third is northeast of that one. The fourth is northeast some more and can already be seen from the third. My time runs out just before the last worker can get on, and I worry, but then I hear the sound effect for him getting on during the explosion cutscene, so it's fine. Daisy lets me know that while I was doing that, the aliens have taken control of the base. So I fly back, get in my APC and machine gun them all to death. I talk to the guy inside who says the aliens have overrun the lake. They have a prototype aqua tank that can be used to fight them underwater, so I get moving underwater and this thing has missiles strong enough to take out most underwater aliens in one shot. Thing is, there isn't too much to say about navigating this part. It's very maze-like and the processor is around the centre of the lake. I find it after a few minutes and try to kill it at an angle, but the homing on the missiles is a problem as they keep going for the small slope in the ground below the processor, so I can only get shooting it from the front. I try my circling technique I've been using for the last few, but it doesn't work and I end up fleeing looking for something to kill for health, but this just results in me being killed instead. I somehow end up finding the perfect angle to shoot the processor safely, it's just behind this boat above me. The missiles don't damage it much and it sometimes will spot me and send a few of its own missiles back, but after a few minutes I manage to destroy it. That one is by far the shortest and easiest of the Siberia levels, but as you'll find out, it's just to make up for the nightmare that's coming next. However, Daisy can't make a status beacon land underwater, so there's still a chance you can be killed before saving. First I get in the boat I was hanging out under and drive south to find this mine. Going up all the stairs in here takes me out at those houses near the shield portal into this stage, which is where the status beacon is. From the base I drive north to find the shield portal into the fourth stage. I take out all the hover rosters that spawn in after me and get following this road, wherever it twists. During this drive, a harvester wave starts to the east. I skip the road and drive straight east over a cliff to take it on. Daisy tells me that there are faint radio signals coming from a nearby building. After looting all the houses, I follow the road slightly northwest to find the building Daisy was talking about. I talk to the radio operator who's trying to send for help but can't get a signal going. He has a scientist friend in the military base to the north who may be able to help. So I get following that road north again. It eventually leads to a wall with a door in it and some coward hover rosters and the missile scorpion beam down behind me for some cheap hits. I make them pay. But it's a shame I have to leave my APC here as it's such a strong vehicle. I go through a few doors and end up inside the base. I start by entering the huge building in the middle and going through the western door. The scientist is in here, saying he has a plan for freeing the radio signals written on the wall next to him and a tank I can use for it to the southwest. He says to clear out all the aliens in the area and then come back to him. That's step 1 of his plan. Step 2 is to retrieve a Scud missile launcher from Vadensk in the northwest, and step 3 is to fire it at the radio station there so the aliens can no longer use it. I go southwest to get in this tank and start following the road. This leads to a very long section travelling through the scorched countryside while the aliens throw everything they have at me. Constant hover rosters, many missile scorpions. After a couple waves I get cocky though and decide to speed past a lot of them. This bites me in the ass when I get pinned between 2 scorpions who swap my tank backwards into a backlog of 1 billion hover rosters. Thankfully, most of these drop health pickups when killed, so I can reach the end of this road, turn around and face everything that followed me here. After taking them all out, I can see the Scud launcher parked here. But first I go west to find a house hidden away between these walls. This gets me the final weapon crystal in the game, granting me one last alien weapon. Once I leave, I'm under attack by a large wave of helicopters, so I drive away from the vehicles here so they don't get destroyed in the fight. I go north some more to find the radio station I'm gonna be blowing up. Inside is a chest with the second alien artifact inside. I then enter the Scud launcher, but that triggers another wave of aliens, so I get right back in my tank and deal with that. It also resets the alien spawns on the way back to the base, so I drive along that and take them out again. I return, but first I get in this plane near the building I found the weapon crystal. Once again this triggers more flying aliens, so it's back in the tank to get rid. I then get flying southeast until I reach the shield and then all the way south to find a village. In one of the houses here is the final alien artifact and final collectible in the game overall. I return to the military base and talk to the scientist. He says to use the hangman west of this building to carry the Scud launcher back here and place it in the fenced off area. So I take it over and find that 2 aliens survived. So I destroy them, hover over the Scud launcher and pick it up with a cable. More flying aliens show up, but the Hangman doesn't have any weapons, so I just have to let them chase me back to the base. I manage to drop the launcher near the fence and draw their attention away from it before the Hangman is shot down. I get in my plane, but that's reduced to the smallest bit of health before I can even take off. I manage to survive all the way back to my tank, where I find there's way more of them than I thought after me. I take them all out and get driving along the wasteland back to the base, taking out even more respawned aliens. Skimming all of this, 10 minutes after dropping off the Scud launcher, I make it back to the base. The scientist says that there's no power to launch the missile, so I have to deal with that now. This means going back to the southern half of the stage. Thankfully my APC is still waiting there as the Hoverosas and Missile Scorpion have respawned. Travelling back the way I came, I turn west at one point and see both power stations being sucked up by jellies. So I take the both of them out and get driving back. I finally remember I had the alien weapon, the Disruptor this time. The scientist tells me to find the firing code next door and use it to launch the missile at the radio station. I go through the door to the right and find the code in the locker. I can now get inside the Scud launcher and set that missile off. I only have one, so I have to make sure I hit that radio station, leaving just a massive crater where it once was. Daisy tells me that doing that has made the processor appear to the east. It's also pissed off the aliens and they've sent another wave after me. But I still have a tank and they don't have anything new, so I wipe them all out. The processor is actually very close, in fact it's still inside the base in the northeast corner. This is one of the easiest processors to deal with in a while. It's in a convenient place and easy to hit while staying in around the same spot. This is a very tough stage and at first I'm thrilled to believe I've scraped through it first try. But then something happens. The Alpha 1 is suddenly surrounded by Hoverosas. The robot tells me that it's under attack and I have to help out. This means they haven't sent out a status beacon, and this is where everything goes wrong. I feel I have to justify myself here with what happens next. I've been in this stage for an hour already. I've already lost many hours from Grease 3 to now thanks to the way this game's save system works and how easy it is to die. And I've already been screwed over when it comes to saving when the status beacon didn't work first time in Siberia 1. I've been at Siberia alone for 2 days straight at this point due to how stressful dying late in a stage is and how much time I'd lose. So I panicked. I grab a plane, fly back into stage 3 and use its status beacon to ensure I don't have to repeat everything before the processor. I get flying back to stage 1, but on the way, the Alpha 1 is destroyed, getting a game over. I worry I've saved too late and not left myself enough time to save it on a reload. That's not the case. It's worse than that. Daisy still says they're under attack when I reload, but all the harvesters are starting again as if I hadn't played the stage. I walk back to the Alpha 1 to find that the Hoverosas aren't there, and neither is Daisy. So I play through stage 4 again, thinking I may just have to destroy the processor again to fix things. But there's a large problem. The radio station is back and the processor only appears after it's destroyed. The Scud launcher's missile is the only other thing that saving the game when I did has removed permanently, and there's only one missile. I spent a good couple hours repeating everything in this level, trying anything I could think of to make that missile respawn. In the end, I just had to accept that the level has been rendered unwinnable. Okay, so I think on this channel I've been very fair and accepted blame for many mistakes I've made in previous games. Not here. If this game's save system wasn't made the way it was, and I hadn't had the trouble that I'd had before, and I hadn't had a save point actually just refuse to work the day before, I would not have taken the actions I did. I think my panicked scramble to save the hour of gameplay I'd just done was justified considering my experience up to that point. I will say, this incident retroactively worsened the troubles I'd had before in this game that I was willing to overlook, and my feelings on the game suffered greatly after this point. The only thing that made these videos on this game happen is that you can choose to restart the time period from the beginning through the main menu. That saved these videos. If I'd start again from the beginning, I would have just scrapped the whole thing. I was not willing to repeat most of Java or America 1 due to what happened. This game was already a replacement for a scrapped N64 game, Glover, which deleted my save a third of the way through due to its own known issues with saving at certain points. I got to keep my collectibles on reload, but this does mean that I can't regain the Disruptor as I start the time period with all the weapon crystals, so I never got to try it out. It still took me a few hours and a few deaths, but I worked my way back here in a fraction of the time it took the first time. So I destroy the processor again. I get in the nearest plane and zoom over to the Alpha 1. I refuse to repeat this stage again, but those Hoverosas do not care about me and only target the Alpha 1 until I get up in their faces. This lets me take them out and finally get the Alpha 1 to send out a status beacon to the spot I destroyed the processor. I go inside the Alpha 1 and see that Daisy is missing again. She's left a message though. She's been taken to the alien homeworld by the Man in Black. The Alpha 1 has been programmed to follow her, but only after the invasion in this time period has been stopped. I finally get my save and see that the shield generator is to the southeast, and the shield portal is to the south. It's not far from the portal, but there's so much shit I just know this plane has no chance. But there's a tank nearby I can take. But while landing I nudge it slightly and have to chase it down a hill. But I get inside. But it has barely any health. But I take out the first segment of the generator with little trouble. But I'm swamped and the tank is reduced to near death. But I missile like 3 aliens right in front of me and get a huge health refill. But there's still too many of them and the tank is destroyed, with me following it soon after. Next time I don't even make it to the tank before my plane gets shot down and I can't reach any other vehicle in time. Third try, the tank gets swatted all over the place, but I still manage to take out one section of the generator. At first I think I'm lucky that they knocked me next to an APC, but that can't survive the volume of enemy fire for more than 10 seconds before it's gone. Fourth attempt, I try being creative, which isn't a strong point of mine. I get in a hangar and carry a tank from the base to the shield portal so I can come in shooting instead of scrambling for the other tank parked here. This tank actually starts with full health, and using my brain actually worked as I easily destroy the shield generator. I get in the Alpha 1, get my save, and get fighting the fourth boss, Beelzebub. It flies and has these 2 cannons constantly spewing electricity. This first attempt doesn't last long as we both stand still and get in a damage race. I almost destroy its right cannon, but the Alpha 1 blows up first. So next time it's the good old skidding in a circle method, but because this thing floats high up unlike the ones before, it can be a bit trickier to get the shots in. This boss is also helped out by those dive-bombing arseholes that gave me so much trouble back in Grease 3 and Java, but shooting them down does grant me some small health refills. It looks like I'm doing well at first until the boss teleports above me and sends me flying with huge damage for the backup to finish me off. I found the best way to deal with this one was to change the camera angle to be far above me, letting me see more of what's going on. This helps quite a lot, and after a few minutes I've destroyed the left cannon. But it gets more teleport heavy and more backup shooting me, and the Alpha 1 is destroyed moments before I can get a health pickup. Next time the right cannon goes first. I never get the chance to grab the weapon drop though, so I'm stuck slowly chipping away at the other with the basic chain gun as well. But I manage it and take out the left cannon as well. The next target is its arse, just gotta get behind it and shoot. It has less health than the cannon, so it takes much less time to break off. This makes it as angry as anyone would be from having their arse blown up, and it becomes much more aggressive, trying to chase and ram into me. But at this point I can damage the main body now. The Alpha 1 is still destroyed though. But on my 5th try I was able to swerve into some frag cannon ammo before it disappeared and just completely wipe it out. The experience of playing Siberia really damaged my opinion of this game and made me wish it just ended here, but we're still not done. Our last part of the game has us travel 25 years forward to the present day 2016, where we land on the alien comet to try and get Daisy back. But this final place is a bit different. I control the Alpha 1 for the entirety of it. This at least made me feel better about still having more game. No other humans alive, so there's no human meter, so there's no harvester waves. All I can do is make my way north from the southeast corner I'm starting in. Destroying the various alien plants and structures will give me ammo for the various extra weapons, so I just continue to head north, blowing up everything I can to build up ammo. After about 5 minutes of inching my way forward, I get a distress message from Daisy. She's escaped and is broadcasting her location to me. It's in the middle of the south of the comet. It is tough to describe what I'm doing as most of this just looks the same. I inch forward a bit, getting to fight either a cannon thing or flying things above me with lasers before I inch forward a bit more. Eventually I meet the most powerful regular enemy in the game, Suppressor. These huge squares with faces and rocket launchers. They can even take quite a few frag cannon shots. Almost 10 minutes of blowing up everything has only got me about 2/3 of the way up the map, so I decide to speed up a bit. There is a starred red line on the ground I can follow as well. At this point, this particular section keeps spamming those cannon aliens, and I'm moving too slow, so the Alpha 1 is destroyed and I die. Next time I go back to the zoomed out camera, as it just works so much better with the Alpha 1. I end up going as far north as I can in the area I died last time, and as I am searching for a way forward, a suppressor takes me down. I last even shorter on the 3rd try and just get running on foot, desperate to spot any way forward for the next attempt, but I don't last long. If there's one thing I can say about the Comet, it's that at least I'm only repeating 10 to 15 minutes with every death and not 40 to 60. On my 4th attempt after building up some ammo at the start, I just floor it past everything and find this giant crystal in the corner blocking a passage through some mountains. Here I meet the Qwertys. They look small and of little threat, but they have a lot of health and their machine guns can chew through yours. Don't do what I do and stay still fighting them. Speed around in circles or you're gonna be shot up. So I just make my way south, fighting Qwertys and destroying all the crystals for ammo and health. Eventually this path starts turning west and I reach the end of the land, very nearly slipping into a pool of acid or lava or whatever liquid covers this thing. I cross this thin path through it to the south, and that's when I get two suppressors at once. I kill the first and very nearly die killing the second. Speeding south some more and another one beams in behind me. I think I killed it rather easily, but then another comes in from the distance. This is why you need to build up ammo when you can. The chain gun is just not good enough for these. South some more and I reach the end of the path, but not before another suppressor emerges from over the mountains behind me, but I take it down like the rest. I have to cross a tiny bridge west onto the square area where the hover rosters return. I try the chain gun on them and it's okay, but the frag cannon is best to not take any risks. I get destroying the 4 buildings around this central structure, but I get swamped by loads of hover rosters and killed. That was a painful loss after making that much progress. I make it back and this time I use the laser missiles. I also forgot about that last suppressor, so that got to join in on the hover roast fight too. After taking them all out, I check the map to see how little of the comet I've covered compared to what's left. I get going south, where I have all these thin bits of land surrounded by lava puddles to cross while controlling this Diddy Kong Racing hovercraft and getting more QWERTYs ganging up on me. I try heading south and navigating this place, only for the slipperiness of the Alpha 1 to slide me right into the lava and kill me. This happened a few times over a couple hours in a few deleted recordings. Next time I just inch my way across as carefully as possible. But there was a terrifying moment when I slid onto more lava and almost blew up before I managed to free myself. But soon after I make it to more stable ground. Daisy's signal is just a little more to the west, but first I find this red crystal with lightning coming out of it. Blowing up finally lets me save the game. I go west through the nearby gate and get the man in black bragging about how the message from Daisy was a fake and they still have her. He beams in a load of missile scorpions around this section. These are actually quite easy to deal with without special weapons. Just keep circling them at the right speed so that you'll never cross their fronts to get shot. Although it is a bit tricky when I get 3 of them onto me at once, so I resort to the laser missiles. Once they're all taken out, I can exit through a gate in the northwest corner. The robot tells me he's picking up fading human life signs from the alien city in the middle of the map. Of course, this means doing almost a full lap of the entire comet. I get following the path southwest and face these dragons. These can be nightmares, as they have a homing lightning attack whenever they get close to you. It eventually gets to the point that I always use the extra weapons on these because the damage can add up quick. I go uphill and drive west along the southern edge of the map until it turns north. I get a few of the basic cannons, but eventually ignoring them and speeding southwest into more dragons. I let too many of them get near me and they destroy the Alpha 1. Next time I just get frag cannoning them. Moving northwest takes me to these alien pods and more dragons. You'll want to blow up the pods though as they drop more ammo. At this point I've gone as far west as I can, so it's purely north for a while. It's a load of missile scorpions, alien pods and so many dragons at once I use some of the resonator ammo I've been saving. A massive shockwave that just wipes them all out. The next lot that come in further on spawn inside me and send me flying, stuck on a cliff edge as I accelerate desperately trying to avoid falling into lava. Then I accept the inevitable and let go, and it just turns out to be a normal floor behind me. And further north is dragons and 2 missile scorpions together. What finishes me here is the auto target getting confused between both scorpions, the last dragon and an alien pod behind them, never able to just kill one, which ends in my death. Next time I get lucky and kill 1 scorpion and the last 2 dragons at once, leaving the last scorpion easy to deal with. Despite the map saying there's still some north left, ignore it. There's a little box to the east that I travel to and from there, north over a thin bridge. Once I'm across, I'm going east across the north end of the map, but here I have more scorpions and the hover rosters are back. Terrain wise, this section is the simplest. I can see most things and there's plenty of crystals to destroy for ammo. The main challenge here is the volume of enemies. There's always something coming for you and I'm always checking the map to see how far along I am. I make it about halfway across before 2 suppressors show up. I kill one and almost get the second, but it kills me first. That one hurt. I was about 3/4 of the way through that entire section, and the next time I get back they kill me again. 15 minutes later I kill them on my 3rd go at them. After them it's pretty straightforward to the end. I go south and uphill, following another thin road. Around here I'm using the resonator for almost everything, since I don't want to risk being knocked into the lava this late. The road leads to another red crystal to destroy, and that's another huge chunk I never have to do again. Following the road south a little and then west has me going through a gate and finally entering the alien city. Of course, Daisy's life signs are on the complete opposite end from the entrance. I don't get very far first time as there are these turrets slinging electricity at me from everywhere. Gotta like how they keep me alive for a bit longer, as if I have even the slightest chance of doing anything without the Alpha 1. Next time, fuck 'em. Just speed right past them until I enter the next area. I follow the road south and then west through another gate. I deal with a few dragons and then keep going west until I go through the gate into the sector with Daisy's life signs. The man in black shows up saying that the alien hive mind has told him to try taking me down himself, calling me brother. He tried that before though, back in America, and he couldn't do it then, and that was back when I didn't have the Alpha 1. But he's got his own evil hovercraft, and it is a pain in the ass to keep an eye on, zipping about everywhere and up the walls. The most damage I did was when he somehow wedged himself against me with his guns pointing away so only I could get any shots in. I get cocky and try to recreate it, but it gets me killed instead. Next time I actually try my other weapons. Laser missiles are easy to avoid at that speed, and the frag cannon just isn't doing it. By the time I get to trying the resonator, I'm blown up again. Next time he just can't stop getting stuck, actually letting the missiles hit, and he goes down in no time. I just barely get the last hit first, causing him to whine, do the Obi-Wan strike me down line, and beam away. I go up the ramp to this building in the middle and get out of the Alpha 1 to go inside. Daisy's being held in what she calls a pain amplifier and yells at me to turn it off. Well, I don't appreciate the shouting, but she did say please. So I give it a whack, she's free, and we're both back in the Alpha 1. Daisy lets me know that the aliens are such salty bitches that they're just gonna ram the comet into the Earth. I have to destroy all of the comet's engines to knock it off course. See these 4 greyed out city corners on the map? That's where they are. So back in the previous area, I start by going south into the large section holding the first 2. There's a huge amount of Hoverosas and Qwertys hiding here, so first I just speed around the area resonating them all to death. It only takes about 2 minutes. That includes this crystal I can destroy for a one-time save, and I get driving up the slope to the thruster in the southwest corner. Like the shield generators, they're powered by 4 attachments I have to destroy. I'm also getting constant Hoverosas to deal with up here, but they end up sliding down the sides a lot. Taking out all 4 powers down the thruster, so next I get driving up the one in the southeast corner. Nothing much to say about this one, it goes even quicker. I then go back through the gates and directly north to the section with the last 2. I plan to do the same enemy clear out I did last time. I get using the plasma bombs, which I haven't used any of yet. Less than 10 seconds in, I discover the plasma bombs have friendly fire and destroy the Alpha 1 at full health for the single bomb. Next time I just stick with the laser missiles. First goes the northwest thruster. I have very little health left, so I take out the final save crystal. Just the one in the northeast left. Doesn't take long, and that's all the thrusters gone. My next objective is to go to the central command tower to kill the hive mind. But as I go back through the gate and return to the central area, the game's 5th boss appears, the Scorpio. It fires powerful lightning beams and creates shockwave by clapping its pincers. I try circling it while using the missiles, but it knocks me into one of the now closed gates, trapping me and giving it the chance to deal some massive damage. I reduce it to the last quarter of health, but it just rushes me and finishes me off. Next time I do around the same damage, but it still gets me. On the 3rd attempt I get it close to death, but then those dragons start turning up and fighting. This actually saves me though, as killing them drops some much needed health refills, giving me just enough to kill it as an attack that would have normally killed me also hits. Daisy brags and I get a lot of ammo refills. As I enter the gate towards the central tower, I'm allowed to save too. Top of the ramp I get out of the Alpha 1 to go inside. The hive mind is here, just a big brain in a tube. It comes out with some toothless threats and I just kick it to kill it, somehow making the entire tower explode. Now we just got to get out. But of course, big whiny baby sore loser the man in black can't have that. He transforms himself into the final boss, Tomega Therion. First I circle him using the resonator to kill those scorpions helping him. He himself just spins in place following me and trying to get me with his gun arm. As I take out his health, he also calls in some Hoverosas. Once I run out of the resonator, the laser missiles come next. I blow up his right cannon, leading to him using his bigger left one instead. That one goes even quicker thanks to the range of my earlier resonator usage. He somehow gets a bigger cannon on his right hand and I decide it's time to try the plasma bombs again. This time I know to keep a distance. But he's just too slow and he pulls out a bigger cannon on his left arm too, so it's back to the laser missiles. The right cannon goes again and the left even faster once again. He next starts teleporting around the place, targeting me with laser eyes. But then a few minutes go by and I just can't do any more damage to him. What I have to do is manually aim for the upper body, as my auto target aims for the indestructible wheels. I eventually find a good spot to just blow his health away. Now he's just sort of weak and pathetic and can barely move, so I quickly blow out his wheels. He's reduced to his original form, so I get out of the Alpha 1 and run up to him. He drops that he's a clone of Adam from his blood drops from the opening cutscene. He gets one last snivel in with "kill me and you're killing yourself," but I'm too sick of him to care and gun him down. And that's the game. The alien comet explodes, the Earth is safe, I get a text congratulations, and our 2 characters do a snog. The robot gets nothing. I think if you watched both videos on this game, you can see my enjoyment degrade in real time as it goes on. Ever have one of those games where there's so much you like, but actually playing it is your least favourite part of it? That's Body Harvest to me. I said before that I love the tone and atmosphere and hopelessness the game gives off, helped out by that soundtrack. I really enjoyed the Greece stages and most of America, but Java and Siberia dragged the game down enough, and I still don't know how I feel about the Alien Comet because the game left me in such a bad mood by the time I was playing it. But here's the thing, the clunky gameplay and the frustration Java and Siberia gave me would have been easily forgiven if the game just had a better save or checkpoint system. If it wasn't possible to repeatedly lose an hour's progress in seconds, I wouldn't have gotten so fed up. I do not exaggerate when I say that if this game's saving was better, or there was some kind of checkpoints, this game would have been ranked anywhere from 30 to 50 places higher than it actually will be, even if nothing else was changed. This game's importance can't be denied though, being such a major stepping stone to Grand Theft Auto 3 and being part of the creation of the 3D open world genre. This is one of those games that would absolutely benefit from a modern day remake to fix those flaws. But of course the game didn't sell well, so it'd never happen. But it's a game like this that needs it most. A game I almost find great, but I had to settle for good with a pretty big asterisk next to it.